The movie kicks off with a mysterious boy named Tony Darko. He lived with his family but was always a little different, lost in his own thoughts, unpredictable, and troubled enough that his worried family hired a psychiatrist to help him. On the night of October 2nd, around midnight, Tony sleepwalks out of the house. Outside, he encounters a chilling figure, a man dressed in a creepy rabbit costume who calls himself Frank. Frank delivers a terrifying message: the world will end in 28 days. Back home, just moments later, a jet engine crashes directly into Tony's bedroom. His entire family is shaken, but Tony survives, only because he wasn't inside. The next morning, police and investigators arrive, but no one can explain where that engine came from. Later, at the bus stop with his sister, Tony seems distant. He mentions the crash to her casually. At school, we see the usual chaos. His overweight friend Sharita gets bullied. A new girl named Gretchen joins the class, and soon, she and Tony grow close. That evening, on the way to therapy with his dad, Tony sees an elderly woman named Roberta Sparrow, who always checks her empty mailbox, almost like she's waiting for something that never arrives. In therapy, Tony admits he has a new friend, Frank the Rabbit, who told him the world will end soon. Meanwhile, the school's gym coach hosts a bizarre motivational show, while Tony continues to experience strange visions. That night, under Frank's influence, Tony vandalizes the school, flooding it by destroying the water pipes and leaving an axe lodged in a bronze statue. On the wall, he writes, "They made me do it." The next morning, Tony learns about the flood and oddly feels happy. At the bus stop, he meets Gretchen again, and the two walk home together. As they talk, Gretchen opens up about her past. Her stepfather tried to harm her mother, which is why they're hiding. Their emotional bond deepens, and Tony falls for her. Even with therapy, Tony's behavior grows more erratic. The school starts investigating the vandalism, and Tony's handwriting matches the writing on the statue, making him a suspect. In the bathroom, a bully threatens him with a knife, thinking Tony snitched about the flood. Later, Tony sees Roberta Sparrow again, still checking that empty mailbox. That night, at a school parent-teacher meeting, things escalate. The gym teacher accuses the literature teacher of influencing the kids with a story that mirrors the prank Tony pulled. Tony sees Frank again, this time inside a mirror. Confused, he asks how Frank is even there. Frank cryptically replies, "I can do whatever I want, and so can you." Then he vanishes after warning Tony about time travel and danger. Meanwhile, Tony writes a strange poem and gives it to his literature teacher, casting himself as a hero and Frank as his guide. The class laughs, but things turn serious when Tony misinterprets a lesson about emotions. He lashes out, leading to a confrontation that gets him suspended from all school activities. Despite everything, Tony becomes obsessed with time travel. He starts digging deeper, looking for answers, and maybe a way to stop what's coming. Tony is given a strange book about time travel, written by none other than Roberta Sparrow, the mysterious old woman who now wanders the streets, lost in her own world. Once a respected nun, something happened that changed her forever. After that moment, she wrote this bizarre but important book. As Tony begins reading it, the pieces of the puzzle slowly start falling into place. The first chapter introduces the idea of a tangent universe. According to the book, there's a primary universe, which is stable, and a tangent universe, which can open due to a glitch in the fourth dimension. This alternate universe mirrors the real one, but is unstable and destined to collapse within a short time. He feels there's a deeper connection between Roberta, her writings, and everything happening around him. One line from her book hits Tony especially hard. "We all die alone." Being someone who has always felt isolated, this breaks something in him. He's overwhelmed with sadness. Strange things start happening. Tony sees a liquid-like trail emerging from people's bodies, almost like a force guiding them. He follows one and ends up in his father's room where he finds a gun. Later, Tony meets up with Gretchen after school. Meanwhile, his parents, growing more concerned, tell the psychiatrist that Tony's loneliness is consuming him, blurring the line between day and night, dream and reality. The next day, the same cheesy motivational speaker visits the school again. Tony, feeling lost, returns to therapy. He tries to explain the strange liquid and even hands over the book, but the psychiatrist just thinks he's delusional. Feeling rejected, Tony walks away. At school, Tony presents his science project with Gretchen, but the bullies mock her family. Hurt and embarrassed, she storms off. Tony tries to comfort her, and they end up going to the movie theater together. While she dozes off during the film, Tony sees Frank again. Frank tells him to remove the rabbit mask, revealing a teenage boy with a badly injured, bleeding eye. He speaks in a trance-like voice and tells Tony about a portal and what must be done. The next day is packed with events. There's a dance performance at school, where Tony's little sister performs under Miss Farmer's guidance. Her team wins, and they're invited to perform in Los Angeles. With Miss Farmer needing to travel, Tony's mother takes her place as the group's chaperone, heading off with his sister. Meanwhile, Tony makes a bold move. He sets fire to Jim Cunningham's house, the same motivational speaker everyone admired. The news breaks the next day. Jim was running a secret child pornography ring from that very house. His arrest shocks the town, and Miss Farmer, who defended him, is discredited. Now, with just Tony and his older sister Elizabeth left at home, he sees his favorite literature teacher leaving school. She tells him she was fired for teaching ideas that didn't match the school's outdated standards. That evening, Tony returns to his psychiatrist and confesses everything: the vandalism, the fire, and that Frank instructed him. He believes that if he didn't act, everyone would have died. He's emotional, breaking down under the weight of what's to come. The 28th day is almost here, and he knows the end is near. It's Halloween night. Tony learns his sister has been accepted into Harvard, and a party is planned to celebrate. Everyone dresses up in costumes. Gretchen arrives in tears. Her mother is missing again. Tony comforts her, but time is running out. Just 6 hours remain until the world ends. Haunted by flashbacks and unanswered questions, Tony decides to confront Roberta Sparrow. He and his friends head to her house, but things take a dark turn. Local bullies attack them. In the chaos, Gretchen is shoved and falls unconscious. Just then, a car speeds toward them. The bullies scatter. Too late. The car strikes Gretchen, killing her instantly. To Tony's horror, the driver is Frank, the same boy from his visions, now alive and with both eyes intact. He had just returned from the Halloween party, wearing the rabbit costume. Devastated by Gretchen's death, Tony picks up the gun from earlier and shoots Frank straight through the eye. Moments later, Roberta Sparrow appears at the scene. Her calm presence suggests she somehow knew this was coming all along. As the final storm approaches, the one meant to end the world, Tony takes Gretchen's lifeless body, places her in the car, and drives up to a hill. There he stares into the storm, overwhelmed by everything that has happened. Sitting beside her, he relives every moment of his journey, every vision, every warning, every loss. Then, we see a jet engine being pulled into a swirling portal. Suddenly, Tony is back in his bed, laughing wildly. But it's not joy, it's acceptance. He knows what's coming. The timeline resets. It's October 2nd again, the beginning. We're back in the primary universe. And just like before, a jet engine crashes into Tony's room. But this time, he's inside. This time, he dies. Everyone connected to him, his family, Gretchen, Frank, wakes up from their sleep, shaken by haunting dreams. They don't know why, but something deep inside them remembers what never really happened. To understand what this movie is really about, you need to grasp the concept of the tangent universe. It's a temporary, unstable copy of the primary universe that forms when a glitch occurs in the fourth dimension. The tangent universe can only last for a few weeks before collapsing into a black hole, one that could destroy the primary universe if the imbalance isn't fixed. This entire story took place inside that unstable tangent universe. When it was created on October 2nd, the primary universe paused, and while copying, something extra, a powerful object known as an artifact, appeared. That object must be returned to the primary universe, or else both timelines will be doomed. The universe has a way of fixing itself. When an artifact appears, the tangent universe selects a living receiver, a chosen one with special powers, mind control, telekinesis, and even a form of time manipulation. That was Tony. Alongside him are the dead receivers, people who die in the tangent universe but retain influence over it. In this story, Frank and Gretchen are the dead receivers. Frank appears in visions. Gretchen becomes Tony's love, but it was never random. They were guiding him from the beginning. Every event, flooding the school, setting Jim's house on fire, the visions, the connection with Gretchen, it was all part of a greater plan. They weren't accidents. Tony was being led, manipulated, prepared. Frank, in his rabbit costume, had to accidentally kill Gretchen. That loss broke Tony. And in that moment of grief, Tony became a dead receiver himself. He finally understood. Gretchen was never meant to be his forever. She was meant to lead him to his purpose. With the truth clear and time running out, Tony uses his powers to open the portal and send the artifact, the jet engine, back to the primary universe. By doing this, he closes the tangent universe and saves the real world. And just like that, the loop ends. Tony dies in the primary universe, but the world lives on.